Alrighty, guys, I'm just going to take you through the basic strategy that I'm talking about for us here to pass the prop challenge. And as you can see, it's a hedging strategy. Now, let's just say we have a $10,000 prop account and a $300 US live account. And let's assume the prop account cost us $100 and that our profit target is 10% for the first phase and that we can't lose more than 10% in total. There'll also probably be a 5% daily maximum loss figure, so that you'll just need to make sure you never lose more than that 5% in any one given day. Different prop accounts will have different targets, different rules, so you'll have to be aware of those. And I've used $100 as the cost for the 10K prop account simply because that's going to make the math nice and easy for me here, and a lot easier for everyone to understand. It will most likely cost you less than that. Some prop accounts will have different targets and different loss limits, so you'll have to, same strategy, you just have to vary the figures for that. But the basic idea is that if we do a buy order on our prop account, we're going to do a sell order on our live account so that the live account will make $10 every time the prop account loses $100. And these figures are simply, if we've got to make 10% of the prop account, that would be $1,000. So to pass this first phase, we would need to make $1,000 profit. $100 is 10% of that 1,000, and this $10 is 10% of the cost of that challenge. So the simple idea is that if we blow the prop account, so if we lose that maximum loss of 10% and blow the account, then we will have made $100 in the live account, and we can simply use that to purchase the challenge again and try again. Pretty simple, really. Now, if we pass the first phase, which means we've made that 10%, hit the 10% target, then we will have lost $100 in our live account. Okay, that's the cost of doing business. Simple as that. Then we have the second phase. So there's always two phases to these type of prop accounts, but they're usually a lot easier. So usually need to make 5%, but you still can't lose more than 10% in total. So now we need to vary the size of the trades we do on the live account, because now we need to make, so here on the first phase, we needed to make $100 if we blew the 10%. But now, because we're already down 100, we need to make $200 on the live account if we lose 10% on the prop account. So essentially, we need to do twice the lot size that we were doing in the first phase on the live account. So yeah, if we blow the second phase, we will have made $200 in the live account, which will cover the $100 loss from the first phase and the $100 from the initial purchase. So we'll be back to square one where we started, and we won't have lost any money. So we can just use that same $100 to purchase a challenge again. Now, if we pass the second phase, so we pass the first phase, and then we pass the second phase by making that 5% target, that will mean we'll have lost another $100 on our live account. So in total, we would have lost $200 to pass the prop account. And we will get that $100 cost of the prop challenge refunded once we pass. So that first $100 is given back to us once we pass, and we've lost $200 on our live account in order to pass. So really, the total cost of a past prop challenge is $200. And it doesn't matter, like we might pass on the first try. It might take 5 or more tries, but either way, it's not going to cost us more. Either way, it's just, if it doesn't matter whether we pass on the first try or pass on the 10th try, the total cost will have been $200. So that will always be the same. The only difference will be how long it takes to actually pass. Obviously, if you pass on your first try, it's a lot quicker than on your 10th try. And, so essentially we can guarantee to pass as many of these challenges as we like, and each one will cost us $200. Now, if you're a very, very good trader and you're not in a hurry, or just a very, very, very good trader, then you won't need to use this hedging strategy. But what happens for the vast majority of people, and this is why a prop firm business is so lucrative, is that they spend $100 or $100 for a $10,000 prop account and they fail. So then they have to get another $100 and they buy a new prop account and they fail. So they'll get another $100 and they buy a prop account and they almost pass, but then they fail. So they're down $300. But they go, all right, I'm getting good now, so I'm going to go for a $100,000 account, which might cost them $600 or $700, and they fail. So fairly quickly, people can be down $1,000. But by using this hedging strategy, you can guarantee that $200 will pass a prop account for you. It's only a matter of the time it takes. So that's where, that's the main reason the hedging strategy is beneficial, is because, most people can't pass a prop account every time. Now, lots of people can, but the majority of people can't. And so they'll have to try 2 or more times in order to pass. And, in this example, if it takes you 2 tries to pass without using the hedging strategy, then it will cost you $200. If it takes you more than 2 tries to pass, then it's going to cost you more than $200. So if you think, not just think, but if you're fairly certain you can pass within, the first or second try, then you probably don't need this hedging strategy. If you're not so sure about that, then you might as well use the hedging strategy, and at least then you know that for $200 you will pass. It's just a matter of when. The other benefit of using the hedging strategy is it allows you to trade more aggressively and pass a challenge quickly. Now, and normally that isn't a good trading strategy because it gives you a much greater chance of blowing the account. But in this case, we have that live account hedge to, as a plan B, so that, our loss is covered. So it's not going to keep costing us more and more. So we can trade aggressively, which will allow us to pass the prop challenge quicker, which will mean that we can start trading where we get a profit split a lot quicker. So instead of maybe taking 2 months to pass a prop challenge, we might be able to do it in, I'm not trying to set a precedent here, but let's just say, for argument's sake, instead of taking 2 months to pass, like if you're a decent trader and you can pass trading yourself, that might take 2 months with a nice, sensible trading strategy. Whereas because we're covered here, we can trade more aggressively and maybe pass in 2 weeks or a month. So we've more than halved the amount of time it takes us to get a past prop account, which means we've more than halved the time it will take us to get to where we can start getting some profit back out of that prop account into our back pocket. All right, so that's the basics of it. I'll do a follow-up video soon for you guys once we get a bit more organised and we know who's going to be involved in this. And that follow-up video will go through more precise calculations. This is just in a perfect world, these figures work. Other things like commissions and spread will come into play, which will vary these figures as well. Just commission, not so much, but spread. If the spread is 0, then these figures work out perfectly. If the spread is more than 0, then you would have to increase the lot size a little bit on your live account to cover that difference in spread. But I'll get into that in more detail in the follow-up video that I'll do soon. And yeah, and also, like, I mean, there's lots of ways of doing this. Like what I'm going to suggest is we only trade pairs that have a very tight spread for this reason. Some brokers and prop firms will actually have a zero spread on Euro USD. So perfect. Other pairs, the spread will be, more, but we just want to pick the ones that are usually quite tight, quite small, to keep these figures as close to accurate as possible. So how that would play out is that if you were trading a pair that had a spread of more than zero, which obviously will be most of the time, then you would need to have a slightly larger lot size in your live account, meaning that every time you make, that would just simply mean that the $200 that you would lose on your live account will be a little bit more. So let's say it may be $250, probably less than that, but a little bit more than that, because you need a little bit extra to cover that spread. Little things like this to fine tune it. Obviously, you can just do this manually. You can have two MT4s on your computer, and you can just do the buy order on your prop account and the sell order on your live account, all at the same time and all manually. We can also use copy trading software to automatically put that hedging trade onto the live account. So all you'll need to do is either manually place a trade on the prop account or have an EA, a future FX EA, obviously, taking out the trade on the prop account, and the copy trading software will automatically place that hedge trade onto your live account. So that's something that we'll definitely go through as we work on this in our little chat group, and talk about the different copy trading softwares and how to set them up exactly. All right, guys, that should explain what's going on here, and I'll talk to you all soon. Let me know once you've watched this video, let me know, and hit me up with any questions about it that you've got. Cheers.